Okay, this is how to do a great job emceeing at the event. This will not be a very long video, but please pay attention because a lot of this stuff is really important to the success of the role that you're taking on. So we are going to talk about tips for preparation, delivery, and professionalism. So number one is do your research. You'll probably be handed a bio that the speaker filled out that had the same questions on it that were sent to every speaker at the event. A lot of times those bios will have information in them that aren't necessary to share from stage to introduce someone for their particular topic. The thing you want to look for are the accomplishments that are directly related to the topic they will be speaking on, as well as accomplishments you could share that will just speak to their credibility as a speaker in general. And so you can use a lot of the stuff that's given to you in the bio, but here's what I would recommend. First of all, read that bio a couple of times at least before you go on stage. Do not make the first time you're reading their bio while you're on stage delivering their introduction. Because a lot of times too, there might be words in there or their names that you're not even totally sure how to pronounce or that you're pronouncing accurately. So read through the bio at least a few times before you're going to introduce that person, with plenty of time ahead of their topic, their delivery, their speech, I should say, that if you need to go to the speaker and ask them any questions, you can. Now, what I prefer to do as an MC myself is to take the bio that I'm given, make note of the parts that I think are going to make a big difference when introducing that person, but then to also add something of my own, which we'll get to actually when we do the introduction of the speaker in just a minute. So for now, just make sure you have something to introduce them, make sure you're reading it ahead of time, make sure you're checking in with them if you need help with pronunciation or fact confirmation. And then, of course, make sure you know how long each speaker has. If you don't know how long they have, then please go up to the speaker and ask them how long they have. They should know. If neither of you know, then definitely find a leader of the event who has the agenda with the times on it and make sure that you know how long they're supposed to have on stage. Second thing is set the tone. So you really are in charge. The speakers are just coming up to give their message on their topic, but you are the person help leading the event. So your energy helps sets the mood. We suggest being warm and engaging. You can tailor your tone and style to match the event. So even outside of this event we're about to go into, in the future, you can generally tailor your tone and style to match the event that you're at. And then also make eye contact and use inclusive and engaging language to connect with the audience. That'll be very helpful. The third thing is the introduction of the speaker. So I started to talk about this a second ago, but here's really where I'll get into the details. So first thing is you want to keep the intros concise. So 2 to 3 minutes at most. We have built 5 minutes into the agenda for the MC to go up, introduce, and then bring the speaker on stage. So you don't necessarily want to take the full 5 minutes just for the intro. You also don't have to take the 5 minutes because it's always better to be running ahead of schedule than behind. In fact, if speakers start running behind, then you may need to cut your intros down even further to save time to help get the agenda back on track. So while you're doing the introductions, focus on the relevant information in that person's introduction, relevant to either the topic they'll be speaking on or relevant to the audience they're speaking to. And of course, it's always good to add something personal. So as I was touching on before, I take the bio I'm given, I read through it, I pick out the things I want to share. I go up to the speaker. I ask them for any clarification on anything. I also ask them for anything else I want to know that's not in the bio that I think could be really good to add to their intro. And if I could have anything personal that I know about them, like if I've spent time with them personally, if I have a memory I can share, or I'll go to people who know them the best if I don't know the speaker very well. And sometimes I'll ask those people for things about the speaker, whether that be words they would use to describe the speaker, whether they have an anecdote or a short story that they could share that could help the introduction. So this is kind of a combination of doing your research, which was the first point, and of course the introduction of the speaker, which is this current point. Now, also related to the introduction of the speaker, here really are the keys. To be a great MC, when you're introducing a speaker, your goal really is 2 things. One is to make the speaker feel great. The greater they feel, the more motivated they are generally to go up and give a great message. It just builds their confidence. The second goal of the MC when doing the introduction, besides making the speaker feel great, is to get the audience excited to hear the message or to hear from that speaker. Ideally, both. You want them excited to hear that message from that speaker. So that's where your introduction really isn't just go up and read a boring bio in front of a bunch of people when you don't even know if that bio had questions that were really relevant to what you're doing. Instead, it's read through the bio, see if you believe it makes sense, pull out what you think is going to make sense to get the audience excited and make the speaker feel good. Add more things to it that you think will make it an even stronger introduction for those two goals in mind. So you really have some leeway here. You don't have to just read the exact bio that you're given. The next point is be professional and assist the flow of the event. So as an MC, again, your roles, besides, making speakers feel great, besides getting the audience ready to listen to that message and keeping them on track and keeping things on time, you want to dress appropriately for the event. So generally as an MC, you should be in professional attire. It does depend on the event and the timing of where you're at on the agenda on the event. But for the most part, it's better to dress up more than dress down more. You want to avoid, of course, offensive or irrelevant humor or language or anything like that. Anything that would, if you wouldn't want the absolute leaders or executives of the company to see you doing it, then do not do it from stage, right? Address housekeeping and agenda items when appropriate. So oftentimes the MCs will be given information like here's where people need to go next, or here's an announcement we need to give to the crowd. So you'll be in charge of those things. And of course, give the speaker the time left throughout their message if needed. So if there's a timer on stage or near stage, and make sure you prep the speaker where to look for it, right? And to look for it and to stay on time. If there is no timer provided for them digitally, then that's where it's your job to give them timing notifications. So whether that's something you write down on a piece of paper, like a really big 2-0 for when they have 20 minutes left, or a really big 1-0 for when they have 10 minutes left, or whether you're using your hands and fingers or however you're doing it, but make sure they know ahead of time that you're going to be giving them those notifications. Make sure that they know ahead of time to be looking for you in the crowd. If you can tell them where you'll be, that would be even more helpful for them so they know exactly where to look. But it is part of your role to keep things moving on time, even if the speaker isn't taking their role in that process more seriously. Also, you want to maintain smooth transitions, so from one speaker to the other. So you're basically bridging the gap between speakers by providing context for the audience that links the prior speaker to the next. Now, there may not be an obvious link, so whether you're just saying, now that you know how to do that when you're with a customer, now let's talk about how to do this. That can be an easy, simple gap, bridge between the transitions. If there's anything that you heard the speaker one say in their message that you think also would be part of a good intro for speaker two, then use that. You are up there to, again, maintain the transitions between speakers in the next, movement of the crowd to the next breakout or whatnot. Like, we are there to, as MCs, to keep everything moving smoothly and make sure that it all makes sense. The other thing about transitions is if something was said that needs to be addressed. So if you hear a speaker say something that probably they shouldn't have said, or that didn't make sense, or could be questionable, or could leave the crowd confused, if there's anything that they say that you think needs to be addressed, then you should address it when you go up between, like after that speaker and before the next one, given that you have time to do that. Now, if it's something that you feel is serious enough that you're not even sure that you should be the one addressing, or you're not sure how you would address it without maybe making it worse, or however you feel about it, you can always reach out to an event leader to ask them how they would like it to be addressed, if at all, and then go with what they decide. Last point is be adaptable. As an MC, be prepared for last minute changes, any schedule adjustments, any technical issues. You're going to have to learn to roll with the punches anyway. If there was a huge technical issue, we need to just move on without the technical part of the presentation, because we can't hold up the event to solve problems like that. So no matter what's going on, just stay calm, improvise as needed while maintaining a professional demeanor. And remember that you are part of event leadership that handles things as they come up. And then the last slide is by being prepared here, engaging and adaptable, you'll enhance the event experience for both the speakers and the audience. The MC is an important role that affects the quality of the overall event. So please take it seriously. We've asked you to be the MC because we believe in your commitment and your skill set. And we hope this was helpful, and we look forward to seeing you rock it out at the next event. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help.